By early August, the allotment has entered its most productive and slightly chaotic phase. The careful plans made back in spring have now been replaced by whatever decided to grow fastest. Among the successes are the runner beans, which have reached the top of their frame and are now covered in their first orange flowers. A small victory, but on an allotment, those are often the ones that matter most. Of course, a productive allotment does not maintain itself. Beneath the impressive display of flowers, a quieter battle is taking place at ground level. The weeds have taken advantage of the shade beneath the beans and have begun establishing themselves. A little attention now should keep them from becoming tomorrow's problem. The difference is subtle but noticeable. A little more space, a little more order, and a reminder that sometimes the smallest jobs make the biggest difference. With one job complete, attention turns to the potatoes. The lines that guided the rows are no longer needed. What lies beneath is now ready to be revealed. Not record-breaking, but not disappointing either. Just enough to justify the effort, and perhaps convince me to grow them all again next year.
Subscribe.
A few months ago, this little bed was full of daffodils and one of the brightest spots on the allotment. Now, it's long overdue for a tidy-up. With the old growth cleared away, the bed can finally breathe again. With this section now looking a little tidier, the plot is beginning to feel more balanced again. This apple tree has had a little attention too. I've sacrificed some of its fruit now, in the hope of a healthier harvest later. Now there's something else catching my eye. One of the curly willow trees has decided to outgrow its neighbors. The willow is back in proportion with its neighbors once again. A simple job, but one that leaves this part of the allotment feeling just a little more settled. By August, some crops are only just getting started, while others have already run their course. The peas have given all they have to give, leaving behind an empty bed and a set of canes waiting patiently for another season. The beetroot is ready to come out now. A couple have bolted, which is always a little disappointing, but the rest have done just fine. The bolted ones are soon forgotten when you uncover beetroot like this. Bull's blood is a variety that rarely disappoints. With the foliage trimmed away, what's left is the reward for months of steady growth. A simple crop, but a dependable one. The beetroot harvest is done, but the bed still needs some attention. The aubergine is settling into its new position outside. There are still no fruits forming, but hopefully it may surprise me yet. The snowball turnips, however, have been rather more enthusiastic. They are growing quickly and have wasted no time filling this space. It's easy to become focused on the jobs that still need doing, but every now and then, it's worth stopping to look around and enjoy what the season has quietly become. Like many things on an allotment in August, the comfrey has grown a little beyond its allotted space. It won't take much to bring it back into line. With the comfrey back under control, this corner of the allotment feels a little more open again. My vegetable marrow is making steady progress. Not the largest I've ever grown, but it's getting there. The next job is pricking out my fresh batch of cabbage seedlings. Before I get started though, I think it's worth checking whether any of the tomatoes are ready. It seems the wait has finally been worthwhile. The first moneymaker tomatoes are ready to pick, their color deepening with each warm day. There's something quietly satisfying about harvesting the first ripe tomatoes of the season. They always seem to mark a turning point. For now, it's only a few fruits, but the plants are starting to show what they are capable of. Hopefully, this is just the beginning of the harvest. Having been distracted by the first ripe tomatoes, it's time to focus on the cabbage seedlings. They are carefully pricked out and moved into individual cardboard pots, where they can continue growing until they are ready for planting out. With each seedling now settled into its own pot, they can continue growing on with a little more space. The next stop is the greenhouse, where they can put on some more growth before planting out. Before I head home, there's one final job I rarely miss. The bird table gets topped up, and it usually doesn't take long before the first visitors arrive. Watching this jackdaw reminded me of one of Aesop's old fables. It tells of a jackdaw who found a collection of peacock feathers and tucked them into his own plumage. Convinced he could pass himself off as one of the magnificent birds, he proudly joined them. The peacocks quickly saw through the disguise and chased him away, but when he returned to his fellow jackdaws, they rejected him too, for pretending to be something he was not. A simple story, but one that's been remembered for more than 2,000 years. Thank you for joining me on the allotment today. I hope you've enjoyed spending a little time in the garden. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.